I'm spending a few days in the south of France, relaxing, eating, enjoying. But today is my mandatory lock-in day. The reason? I will not lose momentum. It's currently 7:14. I just woke up and stretched. Won't be talking much because I'm a guest here. The others are still sleeping, so I have to be quiet, which is hard because I already dropped this twice. Woke up early to get some tasks done before I go and see everybody else. So let's start. I finished up another lesson of math on Khan Academy, just like last time. And now I'm going to plan a YouTube video. I have to film when I come back from vacation, because I said I would do that, and I have been putting it off. And now, honestly, I just forgot about it, so let's do that now. For that, I just use Canva, because it's easy, and Pinterest in my brain. I just did a bit of planning for my room makeover video. It's now 8:36, so I'm gonna get ready because I have to leave early. But yeah, I do like planning videos, and it's better to do it in the morning than late at night, because that's what I've been doing for the past few days. I've just been planning videos until 2 a.m. Not great, not great. Yesterday I kind of did the same, like 1:30, 1:15, around like something around that, which means I only slept like 5 hours and a half. Yeah, it's fine. I'll sleep more tonight. Now I have to go and get ready. Let's get ready. I've actually been in France for a few days right now. My routine looks the same. I've been waking up, relaxing, eating, going out, eating again, sleeping. It's fun. My goals were to relax, to enjoy. That's what I'm doing. It really annoys me how the only thing I can do with my hair is put it in a bun most of the time. I forgot my cream at home, so now I've just been braiding it like this. Not the best, but I'm new to it. That's why.
Ik had geen zin om ze te pellen.
The breakfast wasn't that good, by the way, but after eating we just went out to the magazine. French grocery stores are ginormous, by the way. I went to a chocolaterie, to a distillery. Oh, this citron juice. Oh my god, this citron syrup has my heart. Great shop. Don't go. I want to gatekeep it. So I got chocolate, check the stag broski, and some free glasses. I love these, they're so pretty. Me very happy, me smile. The past few days I saw many fun things in France, such as this wine cellar, for example. I also saw many other stuff. I discovered Avignon, and I saw so many pretty monuments. I was having the time of my life, honestly. This is the fit to go out. I didn't put an alarm. I just got to my room. I lied down. End of story. I was out. Alkaloid. I went to France for some France immersion, but also to visit some family. I had a great time. And I also ate quite a lot of ice cream, actually. Currently in my hotel room, lying in my bed, as you can see. The France trip is coming to an end. I had to lock in for one day because truly inaction makes me feel so anxious. Wasn't filming this YouTube video, I probably wouldn't have done that. Honestly, I'm really glad I did. Like, if I think of doing something and I don't end up doing it, I get really anxious and stressed. So simply that one day of locking in made me enjoy my whole vacation even more, because the goal was truly to relax, so I had to lock in on relaxing after locking in on some math and video planning. And in France, I gotta stay locked in. Thank you for watching this video. Somebody commented on my last video that they love my dance moves, so I promised them I would be busting it down this video. So here we go.